If you're going to take your vehicle to one of these, it doesn't matter what insurance company it is, if you're going to take it to one of their approved repair shops, should ask both the repair shop and the insurance company who is validating that the repair is done properly. First thing for shops, if you take apart a vehicle that's been previously repaired and you find something wrong, stop.
Oh,
Do not move forward with the repairs until we figure out, not we, me,
yes.
until you and the guest and the insurer or whatever figure out what's going on, who's responsible, what is the natural next steps, because as a repairer, you're taking on some of the liability of that first repair by repairing it a second time and leaving irregularities, if you will.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Airing of Grievances. My name is Reamer. That's Robert Grieve, and we are, as always, very happy that you are here with us today. If you haven't done it yet, don't forget to click the subscribe button and the like button. Both of those tell YouTube that this is something that's worth sharing, and we appreciate you for that. Rob, happy Saturday to you.
To you, my dear friends, happy Saturday to you.
So, Rob, we got a doozy of a story.
Yeah, it's complex. It's a bowl of spaghetti that had to be straightened out.
So go ahead and lay it on us. What are we talking about today?
We're going to take a look at a car that we looked at for a guest. They were alerted to some potential repairs that were not what they needed to be.
Okay.
And that caused the guest pause. And so they reached out to us and asked us to give them a hand. And when I kind of started getting all the information together, I'm like, oh my goodness. This is what I said before. It's a bowl of spaghetti.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Let's dig in. What kind of car are we talking about?
We've got a 22 Corolla hybrid that had a loss that was repaired in March of 23, so last year.
Yep.
And that front end loss was right around the $11,000 mark.
Okay.
And it had some frame damage and radiator support damage, and the front was crushed pretty good from what the estimate reads.
All right.
And she brought it to a large MSO multi-shop owner, national brand collision repair facility.
Okay.
That had a DRP, or a direct repair partnership relationship with the insurer. And they fixed the vehicle. Fast forward to July of 23.
Okay.
So just not that many months later,
Yeah.
the car gets hit with hail.
Oh.
Severely.
Yeah.
Hood, roof, trunk, all of it. It needed a new roof, new hood. I think the trunk was able to be repaired.
Painlessly.
I think so.
Okay.
The trunk isn't of issue at this point, but there was significant hail damage done to the tune of $14,000. So now between the two repairs, we're at like $25,000
And this is a
inside of
Toyota Corolla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
So two different shops repaired this vehicle.
Okay.
All right. And this is an important story for consumers for a lot of different reasons.
All right.
but if there's shops watching, which I know there generally is, there's some takeaways here as well.
Okay.
So the second shop repairing the hail, I should say, the second shop was also a DRP for this same insurance company.
Okay.
So the only thing in common with the two losses, really, is that it's one insurer.
One insurer and two partner shops.
Two partner shops with that insurer.
Yeah.
So that was the saving grace of the whole thing.
Okay.
For me, trying to straighten out this bowl of spaghetti. But the second shop, because, they put a new hood on it and have to blend the fenders, you have to take the bumper off in order to do that. And when they took the bumper off, they found some irregularities in the repairs from the first loss.
Irregularities?
I wasn't there to see the irregularities, but I saw some pictures that made me go,
Okay.
First thing for shops. If you take apart a vehicle that's been previously repaired and you find something wrong, stop.
Oh.
Do not move forward with the repairs until we figure out, not we, me,
Yes.
until you and the guest and the insurer or whatever figure out what's going on, who's responsible, what is the natural next steps, because as a repairer, you're taking on some of the liability of that first repair by repairing it a second time and leaving irregularities, if you will.
Wow. Okay.
So that's an important point for people to understand.
Let me just clarify. So if I, the second repairer, take off the bumper and see irregularities, I should stop. Otherwise, it could come back on me, even though I had nothing to do with those irregularities.
Absolutely.
Except for discovery.
Okay, so you discovered it. What did you do about it?
Right.
Okay, and what's, the definition of negligence? What would, a normal person do in a normal situation like that?
Hear no evil, see no evil, therefore there must be no evil, right?
That's not the way it works in this industry, nor should it.
Right.
If you're looking out for your guest, you need to be looking out for your guest completely.
Right.
And if you see something wrong, if you see something, say something, right? So, they're both part of the same thing. Now, I know it is difficult to call foul on another shop to the insurer and all the rest of that. I get that. And you don't want to be part of it or whatever. But I don't think you want the responsibility for it either.
And the consumer should be first always.
Yes. Well, they did let the consumer know that there were some problems, and that's why she got here.
Okay.
So, good on you for that.
Yeah.
But we'll get into a little bit more.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to be a little speedy because there's quite a few pictures here.
All right.
But let's just take a quick peek at the car.
Yeah.
Not a bad job.
Nice looking car.
Yeah. See, get the two sides in the front. You can see, go to pick it up. Yeah. Looks okay.
Right.
So, we go to the next set of pictures, and you can see the bumper attached there. It's a nice gap.
Yep.
But on that would be the passenger side,
Uh-huh.
the gap is stressed, which means there's tension on that bumper from something.
Okay.
So if you can do a side by side, you could probably see that towards the wheel opening,
Yep.
there's a little more gap than there is on the other side.
I see that.
So if we go and take a look at the hood gap on the passenger side,
Yeah.
now on the passenger side, the hood gap looks great.
Okay.
Let's go to the driver's side,
Oh.
and that is
Different.
Yes. Yes. So maybe you can put those side by side.
Yep.
And these again are, not marked up. You can see the passenger side gap looks very consistent.
Yes.
and the driver's side gap is much, much wider,
I agree with that.
which that's a cause for concern.
That's the least you could say.
Yeah, because and we don't know what we're really looking at or the whys yet.
Sure.
We're just seeing the inconsistencies, and you as a consumer can see these same inconsistencies.
You know who else could probably see those inconsistencies? Anybody you want to sell this car to down the road.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we decided to open up the hood, and what you're seeing here, you can just put these pictures side by side.
Okay.
Those, the estimate has on it reconditioned headlights. So headlights that were broken and repaired by a company and then sent to the shop to put on your car, the consumer.
Right.
And if you look at these brackets, they don't look the same.
No, they don't.
And they're actually repair kits that are made that are just screwed onto the back of the headlight. And that's a dead giveaway should you be trying to sell the vehicle.
You have
anybody can see that.
a broken and salvaged headlight
Yeah,
on
two
a
of
new
them.
on a new car.
Two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, two of them. It is not pre-loss condition. Your vehicle was not like that before the loss.
I agree with that.
So while I'm poking around inside the engine bay there, I noticed this upper structural, called an upper rail,
Yeah.
has still got a bend in it.
Yes, it does.
And if you look over to the front of the picture, you can see the washer bottle looks, I don't know, a little cattywampus to me.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it. That bracket just doesn't look right to me.
All right.
And then if we go to the other side, you can also see it's not quite as bad, but there still looks like structural damage.
Got a little crunch there.
Yeah, that has not been repaired. So now the question becomes, does this enter into why the hood is not fitting and in side by side?
It sure is a big clue.
Yeah. And here's a picture of the washer bottle, and you can see that, the bolt is not in the center and that it's stressed.
Yeah,
so
it's definitely been moved.
there's something still awry there.
Yep.
All right. Is it going to kill anybody? No. But if you're trading the vehicle into a used car dealer or something, they're going to notice it.
Absolutely.
They're going to notice it. To try and demonstrate for the insurance company what we're dealing with, I have this handy dandy caliper
Okay.
that I use to measure gaps. See that?
Yep.
Okay. And it's digital. You can see it's got a digital display there.
That's fancy.
And here we have the passenger side of the hood. It's 3.1 millimeters and 4.0 millimeters. That's not too far off for that kind of a distance.
All right.
For as far as lining up sheet metal. But if we go to the passenger side,
Oh.
we're 7.8 and 6.7.
So
that's a big gap.
Yeah, you're not just eyeballing this. This is legitimately
Yeah.
the Grand Canyon compared to the other side.
It's
Yeah.
big difference numbers. And we do that so that we can show the insurer and the guest what it is we're looking at.
Sure.
All right, because I can already see that. You could have seen it in the photos as well. But now we're going to put a little color to it, so to speak.
Yes.
Now let's go to the front of the car.
All right.
And we took these same measurements on the front of the car.
Yeah.
And you can see we have 9.8 on the passenger side of the hood and 4.7 on the driver's side of the hood. So there's a wide gap going down to a skinny gap
Yes. On the front.
on the front.
Yeah.
That's also a problem.
So it's not only this way, but it's this way.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not a hood hinge problem.
All right. I'll bet you those are aftermarket too.
No, actually, it was a factory hood.
Oh, all right.
So with a factory hood, you know what you're dealing with. If it were an aftermarket hood, it could be the way the hood was made.
Right.
But this was a Toyota hood.
Okay.
So,
All right.
we're looking at all these things. I wanted to show you this picture because you can see how much lower the bumper, that hood is closed.
Okay.
And you can see how much lower the bumper is from the hood.
Yep.
So it's not only a wide gap, but it's height also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
we're
means the bumper is down or something is pulling
sitting
that
wrong.
bumper down.
Mm-hmm.
And again, these are things as a consumer you can kind of spot them if you focus in on them.
Right.
If you remember our first pictures, at first glance it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
But if you look a little closer, maybe not so much. And here's one of the reasons why it's so important. In the bumper behind the emblem is a distance sensor. It's a radar.
Yeah.
And that radar has to be calibrated.
Yes.
So anytime you take the bumper off, put it back on, or if you take you replace the bumper or anything like that, which all of that was done.
Right.
You have to recalibrate that radar.
Yep.
The radar wasn't even close to being in calibration. Not even remotely close to being in calibration. And here's a picture of us calibrating it.
Okay.
So my guess is when the second shop found that the bumper was not attaching correctly,
Yep.
it went back to the first shop and they put a new OEM, a Toyota bumper on it, which I think it was aftermarket before.
I see.
So now they put a Toyota bumper on it, but I don't think they ever recalibrated the radar.
Okay.
So that's one thing, besides the fact that I don't believe the bumper is sitting in the proper spot
Because of the damage that we
because
saw
of the
earlier
damage that is bolted to.
on those rails.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's another thing. All those green dots that you can see all over the hood there, and they're throughout the paintwork. That's all dirt or imperfections in the paint. And as you run your hand across the paint, you shouldn't feel any. These are lumps and bumps and
Yeah, it feels like the
trash
surface of
and-
Mars.
Yeah, it's like they were feeding the birds while they were painting the car. There's just so much trash in here. And again, it lessens the value of the vehicle and tells the person buying it, this car has been crashed.
Right.
So what's it worth?
Mm-hmm.
It has completely diminished the value of the vehicle. Here's a close-up of some of that dirt.
Wow.
And it's very difficult to get these pictures, especially on a white car, but you can
Sure.
see
Oh, yeah.
all these, and that's just one little tiny section.
Yeah, that looks like my forehead when I was in the 8th grade.
This was the deal breaker for me. The car is crying.
Oh,
The car is crying.
I'm crying after looking at that.
They delivered it with these horrific runs in the vehicle. So if you're going to do that kind of work where everybody can see it, what are the chances that...
The rest of the job got done properly?
Exactly.
I can answer that question.
So we go back and there's kind of like the finished product, and I sent all these pictures up to the insurance company, and the good news is that they are a very good insurer that maybe makes some poor decisions on shops, but they're a good insurer, and they decided to deem this vehicle a total loss. I should point out that when they replaced the roof, the windshield must have broke on when it came out, or maybe it broke when the hail hit it, I'm not sure, but they put a new windshield in. The windshield has a camera,
Sure it does.
and they put an aftermarket windshield in there. Toyota does not recommend that in any way, shape, or form, especially when there's a camera attached to the windshield. And many times, it's not because of the clarity of the glass. which could be a problem.
Okay.
It's usually more that the bracket is not in the right spot that the camera attaches to.
And the camera has to be
It has to be exactly where it needs to be.
aligned,
And that has to be calibrated as well.
calibrated. Yeah.
That has to be calibrated as well. And there's a very long list of procedures to calibrate that camera. So here's the thing as a consumer. Again, this is a good insurance company. I personally like dealing with them.
Okay.
But they have edicts, if you will, that if you're going to repair cars for us, body shop with an agreement, this is the way we want you to do it. We want you to put reconditioned crappy headlights in it. We want you to put aftermarket parts if they're available, blah, 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 blah. It totally diminishes the value of your vehicle, and the repairs are not what they should be.
Right.
Secondly, I asked the insurance guy, who was way up the food chain, does he have any boots on the ground in Colorado that could come out and look at this vehicle with me, rather than me sending you
Pictures.
100 pictures,
Right.
which I can only send a few at a time, and then document what I'm trying to show in the picture. No, they don't.
No.
No.
No boots on the ground.
No boots on the ground from that insurance company. So, who is looking out for you? Who is making sure your repairs are done properly at the shops that they chose? How did they choose those shops? What made them attractive to the insurance company to put on this program? What is the quality expectation and who is monitoring it? It lessens the value of the vehicle and tells the person buying it, this car has been crashed.
Right.
So what's it worth? It is completely diminished the value of the vehicle. If you're going to take your vehicle to one of these, it doesn't matter what insurance company it is, if you're going to take it to one of their approved repair shops, should ask both the repair shop and the insurance company who is validating that the repair is done properly. Because this lady's been driving her car for months and months and months with that front radar not properly aligned, which that thing controls so many different things. It's
Absolutely.
a distance sensor that also incorporates safety systems.
You bet.
Like, it can predict if you're coming up on something too fast,
Slow
and
down.
it may be able to. Every system's a little bit different,
Okay.
but many times it'll hit the seatbelt pretensioners that suck you in if it feels as though a collision is inevitable, and start the process for airbags to think about whether they need to go off and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of things involved in that technology. That if it's pointing in the wrong direction, it's not going to get the right information.
Right.
And as a consumer, you can see some of these things. I mean, you can see most of these things. We didn't turn a bolt on this. You need to know what to look for, and this is why I'm putting this together, so you can just take a look at some of these things and say, that doesn't look the same as the other side, and ask some questions. And if you can't get the right answers, then seek out somebody, an impartial person, that is going to look at it and tell you if you're safe or not.
It's that impartiality that really makes a difference in so many of these cases. Because if you are answering, if you're a body shop that is answering to the insurer, you're going to cut those corners because they're the ones who are feeding you, right? And you're going to do the things that they say, otherwise you're off the program.
Right.
And
You are no longer the consumer. The insurance company is the consumer because they're paying.
That's exactly
But
it.
you are always the consumer. And you should always come first. And everybody should be working together to help you get yourself taken care of. That did not happen in this case until the very end, when I was able to step in and show what was going on here and the potential. I mean, he asked me to fix it, and I'm like, yeah, no.
I mean, even if you did fix it, there would be, you're so upside down now.
No, you'd have to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it would cost a fortune to do that. You know, we just like to bring these things to you as a consumer so you can be prepared. This is like an after the accident, you know, because we talk about things to do before you even have an accident, during an accident, and, you know, unfortunately this one is the after. But fortunately, we were able to get this guest taken care of and made whole.
All right.
And thanks to that insurance company that stepped up and did the right thing. So that's what I have for today.
That's a lot, and you're right. Bowl full of spaghetti, but I feel now at least the pasta's in a line. And,
we got it done.
And we take care of that. Rob, thank you for this. Happy Saturday to you.
Happy Saturday to you. My dear friends, happy Saturday to you. For the shops watching, thank you for taking care of the guests. They're the most important thing to all of our businesses.
Yeah.
Have an amazing week. I look forward to seeing you next Saturday. Peace out.